Welcome to the Speak Your Truth podcast. I am your host, Jaya Rose. I am an intuitive business coach, and I help a lot of highly sensitive people. So today we're going to talk about being highly sensitive and also being highly successful. And from my own experience and also a lot of my clients' experience, what that has really taken and what it takes on a daily basis. So go ahead and raise your hand right now if you are a highly sensitive person who also is driven by a mission and you want to do good in the world and you want to use your magic, you want to use your skills and abilities, as so many highly sensitive people do. But then it's almost like a conundrum happens because the way that success is modeled in society does not include us. So recognizing that being highly sensitive means that you are a minority, you are 20%, give or take, of the population. And the way that most people function are within a society that does not even consider what it means to be highly sensitive, and it doesn't consider the special nuances and what you need to thrive. And you know this if you are highly sensitive, that nothing in this world is set up for us. Everything is overstimulating. The hustle culture is real. And if you are driven and you have a desire to help people and you have a desire on your heart to serve, it can be really challenging to figure out how to do that without subscribing to that hustle culture, without subscribing to what someone else has had success with. Because just because they have had success with it doesn't mean that you will. And I've seen this time and time again. I've invested in so many programs and so many coaches just to find out the way they see success and the way they function in the world is really different. It's really different than me. And so one of the core things I started looking for in leaders and in people who I want to look up to or look to for a way of being is asking the question, are you highly sensitive? Like, what is your lifestyle? Because I work for myself to have a particular lifestyle. That's a huge piece of it. And some of that is about money. And a lot of it is just about how I feel on a daily basis and what becomes possible because of time freedom. So I want to give you a couple tips today that have really helped me over the years of being an entrepreneur, but again, also being driven to live to my potential and also not get burnt out in this whole hustle culture mentality. Okay. And the very first thing is understanding that you are super unique and that what works for someone else may not work for you. Even me standing here saying that I have built a multiple six-figure business. I've found really great success. I'm highly sensitive. Even me, you might not want to listen to me. And everything I teach, I always say this. If you take any programs from me, I will always be throwing out the nuance to you and say, listen, you've got to do what works for you. And I can give you really great strategies and I can tell you what's worked for me, but you need to figure out what works for you. So knowing yourself is the foundation to highly sensitive success. Being willing to honor yourself is the next step. So we need to know who we are. Whether you're an empath, whether you're highly sensitive, what are the ways in which these things come out? Because the truth about entrepreneurship is that you get to decide, right? You get to decide what you're offering. So part of honoring your gifts is about leveraging those gifts for good. And part of honoring your gifts is understanding what they cost you. I will always talk about this. What does it cost you? So I'm going to give you an example here. I use my intuition most of the time in my coaching, even in my TikToks, when I'm putting out content, when I'm writing an email. I have an overall understanding of what strategy I'm using. Inside of that, I need to feel aligned. Can you relate to that? This desire to feel aligned, like you actually feel good about what you're doing. And that is when you are in conjunction with your intuition. Now, this has a cost. If I want to be super high functioning and living in my intuition and living in a way that feels aligned energetically for me, that costs me something. Want to know what it costs me? Costs me time, costs me energy, because I have to take the time to do my practices, to be with myself, to really show up for myself. And that means I really don't like to coach more than 3. 3 calls a day is like what feels like maybe 6 calls for someone else would be 3 calls for me. And it has taken really understanding that to be able to figure out my own success blueprint. So again, I can tell you my success blueprint, and it works for a lot of highly sensitive people. But what works for you? If I really ask you, like when you show up in your fullest, most vibrant self and you are able to really shine and give to your highest potential, what do you need on the flip side of that? What do you need to be able to thrive at that level? Because that is the key to highly sensitive success. It is leveraging your natural gifts and being willing to pay the price for whatever it takes for those to thrive. Now that's it. That is the recipe. What does that actually look like is going to depend on you, your business, your story, your lived experience, what you need. A couple things though that can help you depending on where you are in this journey. Maybe you're just like, Jaya, you're preaching to the choir. I already know this. I'm already living like this. And then I will just say, well, then use this as a reminder. And also know that every level brings a new devil. So as you rise into expansion, into your next level, you are asked to honor your sensitivity more. You are asked to honor your intuition more and leverage your gifts at that level. So it's not a one and done, like, I'm totally good with my sensitivity. It's growing and shifting and changing with you. And a couple things that have really helped me is just the deep understanding and awareness that I am just different. Like, I don't know if you relate to this, to being kind of a misfit. Like I'm used to going places and being the only one who's thought of snacks and like filtered water. And I have essential oils in my pocket. I have stones in my pocket. And that may seem weird to people if I'm not in the right crowd. And so, but it's what I need, right? And so just understanding that it's a total rebel move. Like you are a total rebel when you are able to thrive and also leverage your magic and become really successful at it. And the more you embrace it, the more successful you will become. And it's just the way it is. So you really have to be willing to walk your own path and to be that rebel and to be that leader. So being highly sensitive actually puts you in a position to be a really strong leader, but in a different way than what we see. So I don't know if you know this, if you've read, I want to remember her name. Oh, I'm just forgetting, but she has the book. She wrote the book on high sensitivity. She did a lot of the research, like the Elaine. Y'all, somebody knows. Somebody say it. Just say it out loud. We'll put it out there into the universe. We are honoring her and her work. I always like to give credit to where I learn things. But her book, I think it's called Being a Highly Sensitive Person or something highly sensitive person. She also has the test that she's put out so you can see, what number are you? I'm like a 24, 23. But she talks about in her book how the highly sensitive gene affects us, and how she really did a lot of research around, well, like why? Okay, why, for evolution reasons, is there 20% of the population who are more tapped into their intuition, who are more sensitive? Sometimes their bodies are more sensitive, sometimes their emotions are, but in general, their nervous system is more sensitive. They're more attuned and in tune with their environment. So why? Like, why would this be valuable for evolution's sake? And what she found is that a lot of highly sensitive people are in positions of leadership, and particularly counsel type leadership. So being a coach, a life coach, any type of coach, a helper, somebody who is on the board of directors, somebody who is giving advice. So a CEO, somebody who is creative and willing to do it differently, willing to be the rebel, willing to own their superpowers. These people tend to be highly sensitive. And she saw that it really from, more of like a history, ancient standpoint of looking at, well, like what were our base needs as humans? We need people to be counsel. We need counsel. We need people who are going to strategize, who are going to have the idea and be able to check back in with that idea. We also need people to take action. We need the task people. We need the warriors, the people to go out on the front lines. A lot of times the highly sensitive people are not the frontline people because they really just could not handle what it would take to be there. But also on the flip side, a lot of times the people who aren't highly sensitive are not really great in that counsel position. You know why? Because they don't have empathy. They don't have as much natural empathy. They don't have as much natural compassion. And these are key characteristics and traits of a highly sensitive person. So recognizing your role, and it helps you in business because you can say, okay, here are the things that I'm really good at. And this is what I've done to really be able to scale my business and to consistently get out of my own way with the thoughts that I have to do everything or I have to be like anyone else. Because I know for sure that my place of power is with my clients. So when I'm coaching, I know that I am doing what I am the best at doing, that nobody in my arena could do it as well as I could. And when I'm speaking, so that is another one of my gifts, which is why I do this podcast and why I get on live videos, because that is my natural ability. So I know that if I'm focused on those things, that I am really doing my work. So what I recommend, whatever, I'm so curious to see what you're inspired by about this talk. I feel like you probably have a number of light bulbs happening all at once. And that's awesome because I want you to put this into practical action and really look at the places that you shine naturally, that your ability, like what are the natural abilities you have because you have the highly sensitive trait? And how can you reinforce those and honor those and take them out into the world and shine even brighter? Again, I can't tell you the answer to that. If I were your coach and I knew you specifically, then I would be able to help you. But you know what you're really good at. And I just want you to really take this awareness to a new level that says that is enough. Because there is a lot of enoughness issues that happen with highly sensitive people because we are told that the way we are naturally is not right from a very young age. And we are told to put our needs on the shelf, to not act like we're too much. And when you're told that you're too much, the real message you get is that you're not enough. So there is a lot of this not enoughness that happens for highly sensitive people. So wherever you are on the spectrum, from the not enoughness to the owning it to the next level of leadership, meet yourself there and really tap into the question of how you can honor it even more. That is my prompt for you today. This was a longer truth bomb episode, but your truth bomb for today is that your sensitivity is not a burden. It is a gift, and it is to be honored and then on the flip side, amplified. Because that is what your mission needs. It is what the people who need your story, who need your medicine, that is what they need. And when you're in that zone, the only option for you is to be thriving and successful. That is your birthright and it is your legacy. So claim it, own it, and amplify it. Thank you so much for being here for the Speak Your Truth podcast. This was your truth bomb for today. If you are listening to this on your phone, take a screenshot. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram if we're not already friends over there with Jaya Rose, and let me know that you were listening. I would absolutely love to know a takeaway that you have for this episode, because I know that I'm speaking directly to you if you are a highly sensitive person who is driven on a mission to help people. Okay, I will see you next time on the Speak Your Truth podcast. Bye for now.